Oh shit, I didn't see y'all there. How y'all doing? It took an entire week, and it genuinely started to pain me after doing it, but I finally managed to reread the entirety of My Hero Trashademia. My Hero Metademia. Oh, hold on. My Hero Pedophilia. Okay, calm down. My Hero Academia. That shit is finally over. Thank God. And in order to commemorate the absolute garbage hand that Deku was dealt at the end, we are going to be reviewing the entirety of My Hero Academia. I'm going to be using my superior brain and extremely expansive yet limited knowledge in order to prove with 50% certainty, more like 60%, no, 70%, hold on, yeah, I've got it, 90% certainty that My Hero Academia is mid.
This ain't what you want. No, this ain't what you want. Fuck y'all niggas, I feel like Papa John. Rap respect to the fence. I'm Tony Khan. And they hate what I say, cause I ain't wrong. What kind of rapping is this? The economy rap niggas piss, you know it. I wanna take my bitch, that pussy get feeling like this, you know it. These niggas be texting with kids, it doesn't get stranger than this, that's whole shit. Fuck the bar, I don't fuck with you niggas like I'm not Hogan. Wait, I am me, red house with a shot of repeat.
Before we start, I must remind you all that the word mid does not actually mean trash. The word mid means that something is neither good nor bad. Got it? Good. Now, how I'm going to do this is that I'm probably just going to scroll over the entirety of My Hero's arcs and then make necessary tangents when I need to. Otherwise, this shit would be super unorganized. Not gonna lie, it already kinda is. Now, one of the first things that I will do, and I know this will surprise a lot of you, is give My Hero its flowers. There are two things that you absolutely can't deny are good in My Hero Academia. Number one, it's art. My Hero Academia, especially at the tail end of the manga, has top tier art. The anime just doesn't do it justice. And that's not just a problem for My Hero Academia. Some of these manga artists are truly on crack. I mean, seriously, you think Mappa's gonna be able to do this? No. Anyways, the second thing is the premise. A world where everyone basically unlocks a superpower and people with the best superpowers become superheroes or supervillains. Honestly, it's a pretty interesting concept. However, like an African son who comes out as gay, that idea quickly becomes discarded. With that out of the way, Chapter 1. My Hero Academia starts off like any shonen usually does, where first of all it introduces the premise of the shonen, and it also introduces its main characters. And some of the first scenes we see is Izuku Midoriya, this show's protagonist, getting absolutely bullied by the rest of his class after saying that he wants to be a hero. And I just have to say, this classroom is one of demons. Not one single supporter of Deku's dream. Not even one kid? Not even the fucking teacher? You wanna laugh at quirkless Deku's dream of being a hero? I know you not talking. These niggas forget the fact that they're heroes whose quirks don't even enhance their combat abilities that much. Aizawa is the perfect example. You niggas are laughing at a quirkless nigga wanting to be a hero. Meanwhile, you niggas look like your mothers and fathers took too much crack while birthing you. Oh yeah, this society is doomed. Shigaraki was right. Honestly, if I was Deku, I would have moved schools. And it is here where we are introduced to Deku's number one op, his childhood's best friend, Katsuki Bakugo. My god, early Bakugo was Bakugo at his worst. He was yelling almost on the same level as Season 1 Black Clover Asta. If you were to put Bakugo next to a villain, you'd be hard-pressed to realize that he is a hero. He hates Deku so much that whenever Deku succeeds, Bakugo gets depressed. on some Eddie Brock type timing. Bakugo is quite literally the living embodiment of a crash out, and what he does to Deku right here is absolutely awful. Nigga legit tells him, "Hey Deku, you know if you really want a quirk right, you should kill yourself, and then maybe you'll get one in your next life." Like, hello? And this is the same nigga that these mentally deranged role players want to give Deku back shots. And the role players don't even do it right. What? They make Bakugo sound too much like a human being, when in reality he should sound like a murderer who is wanted in 37 different countries. Observe. Oh no, Kachan, don't touch me there. Don't touch me there, Kachan. I'm gonna rape your whole family, Deku. Starting with you, and then I'm gonna go to your tight-ass mom. One more thing you need to know about Bakugo is that he is a victim, because immediately after he tells Deku to kill himself, he gets touched in a no-no spot by this cum monster, and this is one of 2 times where he lets a grown-ass man feel his insides without his consent.
You a pedophile. You a pedophile.
You're a victim.
We are going to skip a few arcs ahead of this because let's be honest, the next few arcs are simply just standard shonen shit. However, one thing I must say is that at the end of almost every arc, Deku's arms become broken. And honestly, not just these arcs, the end of every arc. Take a look at Deku's injuries after these arcs, and honestly, you might be hard pressed to think that you're watching Baki instead. Midoriya better be thankful that he's in Japan, otherwise if he was in the US, he'd already be working a 9 to 5. We are now at the UA Sports Festival arc, where the most important round is the final round, where the students quite literally beat the shit out of each other in order to make sure that they get scouted for internships. Hey man, I guess beating the shit out of your best friends is the perfect way to become a good hero. I mean, look at what Hawks did to Twice. That nigga is number 2 for a reason. Now, one of the fights that really stood out to me is the fight between Bakugo and Ochako. Now, a lot of you might be saying, oh, Bakugo went all out on Ochako because he respects her ability. Wow, guys, you guys are really good at making excuses for making Bakugo look like a human being. I'm just gonna tell you right now, that's not what happened. I know for a fact that Bakugo caught Deku and Ochako talking, and he saw Deku smile. Bakugo, number 1 hater that he is, can't have that, and decided to do a little bit of correction. We then transition over to the Hero Killer arc, where 3 16-year-olds proceed to jump a grown-ass man in an alleyway. This arc, however, is pretty good in my opinion. There's not much to talk about. However, there's just one thing I want to focus on, and it's something completely unrelated to the arc, to be honest. It's the fact that these niggas, 16-year-old boys, are showing up pro heroes. This is one of the earliest pieces of evidence to show that the hero society all suck at their jobs. Every time a hero wants to do something in order to teach young ones, things always go wrong. They try and do a training exercise, villains invade. They want to do license exams, villains invade. They want to do secluded training specifically to prevent villains from invading, villains invade anyway. They want to do a fucking school festival, villains would have invaded. It's honestly pathetic. Grown-ass men and women can't do their jobs. And it's always up to niggas who can't even drink fucking alcohol to pick up the pieces and do the jobs for them. Honestly, if you have a fucking hero license, you ain't shit. You're better off being a fucking vigilante. Pro heroes suck, dude. I'm looking at you, Hawks. Fuck you. The arc after that is the final exam arc, where, in true My Hero fashion, you have to beat the shit out of your teachers and capture them in order to pass. Or at the very least, you have to run away from them. However, considering the fact that pro heroes ain't shit, that is not a hard thing to do. Although, for Midnight, the look she was giving some of the students was a bit, questionable to say the least.
You a pedophile.
The arc after this that I care about is the Yakuza arc. Why did you skip over the arc where All Might saved Bakugo? Listen. That arc was a good arc. That's it. Moving on. So for the Yakuza arc, I think this is when my hero starts to take a dive. And honestly, it's for a pretty petty reason. I hate the character named Eri. She is quite literally a living, breathing plot device. Eri's daily routine when she was with Chisaki was wake up, get blown open like a balloon, shovel the remains and turn them into drugs, get stitched back together, rinse and repeat. Honestly, a pretty sad life. And yet, once she is saved, despite the fact that she's not being blown open like a balloon anymore, she's still kind of used for other people's purposes. She was used for Muriel becoming relevant again. She was used to make All for One more imposing. And she was used for the absolute nothing burger that was Deku losing his arms. But do you want to know what she wasn't used for? She wasn't used for preventing Night Eye's death. Like honestly, while Eri was losing control, they could have just put Night Eye over there and just... Let me talk a bit about death. Night Eye is the only impactful hero death. Honestly, Horikoshi's kind of a dickhead when it comes to his hero characters. Like seriously, let's take a look at some of these deaths. When Midnight died, did you feel anything? Don't lie. Did you feel anything? No? That's what I thought. Did you feel anything when Crust died? Who? Half of you probably didn't even know this nigga existed. But then let's look on the villain side. Did you guys feel anything when Toga died? I bet my left and right nuts that you guys did. The same could probably be done for Twice, my favorite MHA character. Don't ask me why. Villains have exemplary deaths. Each one is super impactful and oftentimes attached with various amounts of context and even a backstory. It makes you feel something when that character dies. But the same cannot be said for most of the heroes. And I honestly think for the most part, the reason why that is because they keep making these random ass nobodies die instead of the actual important characters that we actually give a fuck about. Like nigga, Xless over Gran Torino? Come on, man. I always found myself rooting for the villain side. Call me a Shin Megami Tensei Chaos representative.
Corny ass nigga.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I hate seeing the faces of these fucking 16-year-olds saying the same things over and over again. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Unfortunately, MHA characters feel the need to humor a time-rewinding prepubescent, which culminates into one of the worst anime arcs of all time, the UA School Festival. Listen, I am a shonen meathead. I like to see two niggas beat the shit out of each other until one of them bleeds out. I am a simple man, and that is what I like. And I will probably never watch a slice of life in my lifetime. However, unlike shonen meatheads, I will not sit here and discredit the fact that some slice of lives can definitely bring something to the table. My friends who like slice of lives can attest to this. Don't worry, they like the normal ones instead of the weird ones. However, even my slice of life enjoyer friends despise this arc. Like seriously, Night Eye died and Deku and Kirishima were forced to be wrapped up in their hospital beds, and y'all are having a school festival? Stop! The reasoning for the school festival appears to be easing the anxiety of the students. Nigga, do y'all not have counselors? Do y'all really have to do a school festival for this shit? Someone's tax dollars are definitely not going in the right place. And to make even matters worse, this shit was about to be crashed by Gentle. Honestly, a nigga that I could care less about. This shit just feels so fucking abrupt and out of place. It feels like I'm reading an actual filler arc. Do you know how sad that is when an actual arc is treated like a filler arc? And I don't want to hear any comments from these 20-plus-year-old losers who did not have a fulfilling high school experience telling me that shit is peak. It's okay if you say that this arc is not as bad as I'm making it out to be, but if you think this arc is peak, honestly, I think you're a fucking dumbass. Please, for the love of God, keep that school festival shit in the living with my 400-year-old witches and the seducing my 42-year-old teachers. Please, I just want to see two niggas box. Fast forward a little bit, and I'm honestly unsure when this happens, but Class 1A meets Eri, and Mineta says this.
おいらミネタ10年後が楽しみだ
Like, what the fuck is this? I thought My Hero was supposed to be a show about heroes, not pedos.
You a pedophile.
The next arc of importance after this is the Liberation Army arc. And honestly, this shit needs to be studied. You have the absolute nosedive of the UA School Festival arc, and then you give the absolute peak of My Hero, in my opinion, in this arc. Personally, this arc is the best arc of My Hero. And you wanna know why? Because there's no heroes in it. Like, we see the villains grow in so many ways, whether it be through mentality or just through their physical quirks and shit like that. Honestly, it's really interesting to see. One of my favorite ones is when Twice realizes, oh shit, I could have just broken both of my arms. Now I'm not retarded anymore. Honestly, the League of Villains is just a bunch of mentally ill miscreants. Just like my friends. Must be why I like him so much. I think Horikoshi does a really good job when it comes to his villains. It's a shame it's not the same with his heroes. Whenever a hero goes through trials and tribulations, I feel nothing. You know why? Because I know they'll get through it. All it takes is their friends, or sometimes their significant other, to give them a 30-minute, 6 out of 10 friendship speech for them to power up and power through their problems. When it comes to villains though, I'm on the edge of my seat because they have 3 choices. They can either A, turn over a new leaf and become a good guy, B, become neutral but inadvertently help the good guys, or C, double down and die a horrific death. The sheer existence of this choice is what makes villains interesting. Heroes are way too fucking predictable. Like, seriously, I remember when niggas were crying when Bakugo died. Like, come on. Bakugo is 16 years old, is a main character, and is a character in the manga that was released in 2014. This nigga is alive. Unpredictability in shonen is a good thing. I don't know about y'all, but reading/watching the same things recolored over and over and over again gets a little bit old. Unpredictability is one of the reasons why I think JJK and Chainsaw Man are pretty good, because every time you open the fucking page, you are always on the edge of your seat. The only thing reminiscent of that in MHA is its villain characters. Heroes are boring. The next arc of importance after this is the Paranormal Liberation War arc. What this arc and the last arc have in common is that they have War Arc syndrome, where it seems to just go on and on and on, flashing to different parts of the battlefield. Most of these parts containing characters we don't give a shit about. One thing I will say though is that Horikoshi probably does not like black people, considering the way he treats Mirko. Like, honestly, she's not even that interesting of a character. She's just kind of there. But for some reason, Horikoshi seems to amputate her at every turn. Like, what the hell did she do to deserve this? Like, maybe Horikoshi was just walking around somewhere and encountered a black woman speaking. And since he decided not to listen and learn, he got roasted for it. And he must have been like, ha, I got something for you. And then Mirko was born. Yeah, I think this nigga low-key hates black niggas. I think the end of this arc was definitely interesting because it ends with one of the biggest expos videos I've ever seen, exposing Endeavor for being a top tier dog shit dad, almost on the same level as Minato Namikaze and Goku. And he honestly deserves it. Nigga's so bad as a father that he caused his wife to tweak out and give Todoroki to Zuko, caused his elder son to crash out and almost send Todoroki to hell with Shigaraki's grandmother, and be so shit of a dad that his second son will always shit talk him whenever we see him on screen, even when he gets saved. It's honestly impressive. Hawks also gets exposed here, and he deserves it even more. You mean to tell me you were killed twice and all you got was burnt wings? You should be dead. Anyways, continuing on, after this we have the Dark Hero arc. And if you think I'm gonna say anything different from the numerous amount of people who watch this arc, you are dead wrong. This arc should have been longer.
Ooh,
and
that's
I mean
small.
it. Nigga beat Muscular, Lady Nagant, some random nobody, and that's it. Nigga goes back to being normal crybaby ass Deku, and all it took was all of Class 1A watching Naruto and learning the talk no jutsu technique? Seriously? And the whole fight between them just kinda pissed me off, dude. I mean, if I was Deku, I probably would have beaten the shit out of all of them. I mean, that's what it takes to being a good hero, beating the shit out of your friends. And Bakugo deserves it, of course. Nigga told him to kill himself, remember? I wouldn't have accepted your apology. I'm gonna be honest, I'm kinda just being petty. I just hate seeing their fucking faces, dude. And the battle ends with the UA refugees coming out saying, "We don't want this nigga in here. We gonna get caught in the crossfire. Please, you have to let him in. Because if you do, then that means me and Deku get alone time, which means Baku Deku will cease to exist."
Okay.
And the final line of the battle is, "This is how we became the greatest heroes." We?
We.
Oh boy, I know where this is going. After this is the Stars and Stripes arc, and honestly, I don't even fucking care about this arc. This arc shouldn't exist. Same with the character. What did she even do? Nothing. Moving on. The final arc of My Hero Academia is the final war arc. This arc, as usual, suffers from war arc syndrome, and this arc has the usual Mickey Mouse, My Little Pony, Friendshipist magic ass bullshit, Kingdom Hearts ass nonsense that you would usually expect in My Hero. It seems to me that all of the 16-year-olds have mastered the art of talk no jutsu, and they are spamming that shit over and over and over and over and over again, telling the villains, "You may be bad, I see where you're coming from, but you hurt my friends. My friends are my power," and things of that nature. I just hate seeing their fucking faces, dude. Low-key, this manga is starting to make me hate children. I think this Disney princess ass shit is one of the main reasons why I don't like My Hero Academia. The power of friendship ass nonsense is so stupid. It is the least satisfying way to do things in manga and anime. I remember back in the day I used to watch Soul Eater and I liked Soul Eater a lot. However, that ending, for the anime at least, I know the manga is different, was Mickey Mouse, and that made me hate it and its prequel for the rest of its entirety. And the stupidest application of this in My Hero Academia are people's prayers, praying for All Might's safety, causing Bakugo to come back and save him. All Might should have died, no argument. You mean to tell me that a nigga with practically no organs, fighting full power, all for one, and losing is still alive after 8 fucking years? I genuinely think All Might dying would have been better. The same honestly goes for Endeavor and Dabi. Those two should have died together, or at the very least, those two and Endeavor's wife should have all died. Personally, I think that would have worked pretty well for the story, although I am a bit of a psychopath, so personally I was kind of hoping for that entire family to be turned into ash. But sadly, Toya and Endeavor remained tortured beings, complete utter shadows of their former self. Toya can't even fucking piss without a machine, dude. Honestly, most of these characters that should have died during this war ended up becoming disabled. Like, for God's sake, put Mirko and Edshot out of their misery. Now finally we can talk about Shigaraki versus Deku. I can't be the only one who was extremely dreadful when I heard the words that Deku wanted to save Shigaraki. I was definitely in my African praying mode, praying to God that Shigaraki would be put down like the criminal that he is. And I think what happened during the final battle, I think Shigaraki actually still stood on business. So I'm thankful to God that he answered my prayers for that. With that, we are finally in the epilogue. All it is a bunch of characters trauma-dumping over each other regarding the events of the war. And honestly, I don't think people care, myself included. And then we go over the 8-year time skip, where Deku is working a 9-to-5, have a plus ultra day looking ass, and his friends, his so-called friends, have ghosted him for the entirety of those 8 years. Those niggas are fake friends. You should have killed them when you had the chance, Deku. And not even his fucking love interest. Deku could have been straight or gay, but the worst romance option was chosen for him. Deku is a cock. Nigga basically regressed all the way back to chapter 1. No friends, no quirk, and is not a hero. Nigga failed at everything in life. So despite the fact that Deku lost one for all, nigga should still have the physical abilities and reflexes to be a pretty great hero in his own right. Despite the fact that he doesn't have his monster strength, he would still become a top tier hero. So why is it that Deku is working as a disc jockey for 8 fucking years? It's because Deku is stupid. Deku basically gives up on all of his dreams until he gets a handout. That is why I say he's regressed all the way back into chapter 1. All Might comes out of nowhere and gives Deku his fucking trash ass Iron Man suit, saying that it took 8 years of analyzation to do this, which is bullshit.
I knew it!
In those 8 years, why didn't Deku go to the gym and train? In those 8 years, why didn't Deku take up a martial art? In those 8 years, why didn't he go to his tech genius side piece and get shittier versions of his Iron Man suit so that he can continue heroing? It's because this nigga loves to wait. When Deku is not given the god tools, he becomes 150% reactive and does absolutely nothing until he gets another one. Maybe this is why Deku's friends ghosted him for 8 fucking years. It's because Deku does not reach out to easily attainable opportunities. In chapter 1, this behavior is excusable. Nigga was basically traumatized every time he went to school. Low self-confidence can dampen your ability to do many things. However, after going through numerous wars and numerous emotional and mental turmoils, there is absolutely no excuse for you sitting around and doing nothing. Go and pick up some fucking weights. And All Might keeping this tech a secret from him for 8 years is also indicative of All Might's bitchness. However, I have a secret theory that All Might giving this technology to Deku 8 years late is some sort of secret ploy to bang Deku's BBW mom. I mean, the father isn't there anyway. However, he needed Deku to stop coming back to the house, which is why he gave Deku the Iron Man suit, so that Deku could leave his house more and All Might could do his thing.
Yes, kid.
Is that dick good?
Yes, kid.
How good is that dick?
Oh,
How good is that dick, bitch?
amazing. Amazing.
Honestly, that's it. My Heroes is filled with a bunch of frauds. These people are all fake, contrived, on some stain shit. This ending has one major thing that I hate about My Hero Academia, and it's the fact that Horikoshi likes to take back things a lot. A lot of the things that he writes ends up becoming so short that they have no lasting impact, meaning that it probably would have been better if he didn't do it. Dark Deku was too short, so it felt contrived. Deku losing his arms was a complete waste of time, and Deku turning out to become a hero again so quickly after numerous statements of saying that he'll probably never be a hero ever again is honestly so lame. It's like Sasuke doing all of his bullshit and then watching Naruto just do a single talk no jutsu and Sasuke is back to being a good guy. it is so lame. The ending just comes out of nowhere and it is not satisfying in the least. Anyways, final review of My Hero Academia. My Hero was at its best during the beginning arcs when the premise of heroes and villains was still very much fresh. However, as the series went on, things started to get a little bit diluted and contrived, and fairy tale-like elements started to seep in. Any sane person on planet Earth hates fairy tale, so any fairy tale element being put into your shonen will immediately degrade it to a shadow of its former self. The greatness that it had at its beginning started sifting through their fingers, and My Hero just degraded into them simply just talking about their feelings and talking about friendship. I would rather play Kingdom Hearts. That is actually more interesting. I honestly don't know where my profuse hatred of Class 1A comes from, but maybe it's because whenever I see their fucking faces, it reminds me of Fairy Tail Guild. As a little fun fact, I did not watch Fairy Tail. I read Fairy Tail, and I hate it just as much as everyone else does. In fact, reading Fairy Tail legitimately gave me vertigo. So whenever I have vertigo, I immediately think of Fairy Tail. All in all, My Hero Academia had some really good stuff in the beginning, and they themselves had some pretty good arcs as well, but there was a lot of bad at the later stage of the manga, equalizing it out for My Hero Academia being mid. Thanks for watching the video. Sorry for it being longer than the others, but this is talking about a whole ass manga, so you gotta respect it. I hope to see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.